shot. Oh, what a goal! At 3-0, that's magnificent football.
Squeezes that ball into
Carlos! Oh, that is a stunner! That is an absolute stunner from Sean Carlos!
to slip into midfield.
Sander.
They won this game by 3-0. A comfortable victory in the end.
Peninsula Power are looking to claim the double with the Premiership and Grand Final title. But if East are to spoil the party, they'll need to become the first team in the league to beat the dominant Power. From AJ Kelly Park on the Redcliffe Peninsula, it's version 1 of the FQPL Grand Final. Peninsula Power versus Eastern Suburbs. Rafe Griffin joining you in commentary this afternoon. It's been a bit rainy around the Redcliffe Peninsula as it has been around most of the Greater Brisbane area this afternoon. The rain has cleared away momentarily. The sun has gone behind the clouds and a big crowd is starting to drift in to AJ Kelly Park for this FQPL season decider. Well, Peninsula Power, they've been dominant right from the get-go. A 2-1 victory against Mitchelton in round 1. It was an incredible 19 goals they scored in their first 5 rounds of the season, conceding just 2. And they've had to do it with Sam Cronin injured for most of the season. Jordan Dozzy, the mid-season recruit from Mitchelton, heading home there in that victory against the Wide Bay Buccaneers in Bundaberg. And when they're not scoring directly, they're certainly mopping up the scraps, as Ramon Close did against the Sunshine Coast Wanderers. What a season they've had, Peninsula Power, in the inaugural Football Queensland Premier League. And of course, they've got to this point of the season after this 3-0 victory against Souths last weekend. Dean Briggs, the leading scorer for Peninsula this season, that his 21st goal for 2018. And it was further work from Dean Briggs that brought up the second goal 10 minutes into the second half last week, and that unique salute. And Josh Woolley also helping out, having that initial shot there denied, but provided the assist for Alex Warrilow to seal the win for Peninsula against South 3-0 on the 73rd minute last weekend. Now we caught up with the mid-season recruit from Peninsula Power in Jordan Dozzy for his thoughts on this grand final.
So undefeated for the whole season, coming into the grand final. Job's not done yet. What do we do to make sure we stay undefeated?
It's just about, doing what we've been doing all season. Not going to change much. We've been staying motivated. We've been staying focused, staying injury-free, and making sure that everyone's body's right for the weekend. We're a week out before the final. Trying to learn anything new or doing anything, drastic. It's just about, staying injury-free and making sure we're right for the day. It's not like we're slowing down at all.
Goal return for Jordan Dozzy this year across 2 clubs. Look out for the lanky striker. He starts on the bench for Peninsula Power today, and we'll take more of a look at how the 2 teams line up in just a moment. Before we get to that, we're going to go into how Eastern Suburbs season panned out over the 26 rounds of the Football Queensland Premier League. And it all started up with a 3-3 draw to open up the season. We saw this game in the live stream, a comprehensive victory against Rosedale that night. 6 goals put away by the Tigers on that occasion. A big start to the season after that 3-3 draw to open up as a loss to Peninsula Power. It went draw, loss, win, 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 loss, and then 6 wins in a row to finally clinch second place on the table. And key to that was the FQPL Golden Boot, Ueel Scholl, and his striking partner in Jordan Farina. Between them, they've scored 62% of Eastern Suburbs goals this season. And how did Eastern Suburbs get into the grand final? Let's take a look at those highlights from the win last weekend at home against Logan Lightning. This corner whipped in and put away by Scott Coulson to open up the scoring for Eastern Suburbs 14 minutes in last weekend. This ball threaded through for UL Shoal. He didn't get on the score sheet last week, but came oh so close. And Farina was the provider for Belloretso on this goal 79 minutes in before Geordie Farina turned from the provider into the scorer and putting the winner away for Eastern Suburbs 5 minutes from time. And during the week we caught up with the FQPL's leading scorer, the Golden Boot for 2018, UL Shoal, to get the Eastern Suburbs equation on this grand final.
Big game on the weekend. How do you see you guys shaking up before the big game?
I think if we prepare well and just really rock up on the day, because grand final days are about who turns up. It's not really about the regular season because it's a one-off game. It'll be good just because it'll be a good upset, and I love an upset. So probably more so than winning the trophy. No, like I've always said, if we just win, I'll be happy. Like I don't care how that happens. You know, if we kick bite, maybe not that, but if we just win, yeah.
Awesome.
And a goal.
And a goal, yep.
Yes, ever the comedian UL Shoal, and light-hearted moments down by the river at New Farm Park yesterday when they caught up with the photo shoot, him and Jordan Dozzi. You can see the officials straddling over to the sideline, the Eastern Suburbs officials, as we take a look at how the two teams and their season for 2018 panned out. As we know, Peninsula, just the one blemish against Logan in a 1-1 draw. 23 wins for Peninsula compared to their opponents, 16. Both sides have scored plenty of goals, 108. East almost cracked the 100 with 95. It has been a bit of a leaky defence, however, for Eastern Suburbs, conceding 47, while their opponents conceded just less than one goal per game through the season. Of course, the two top scorers, Dean Briggs for Peninsula, managed to get into 20, while for UL Shoal, 35 goals for the East Marksmen this year. The two encounters between these two sides, well, it was back on round 2 that Peninsula Power defeated East, and then the return bout where Peninsula won again. So we take a look at the Peninsula lineup for this afternoon, and there's been a few changes to that team list that has come through. Their starting lineup is Jake Reesby, Matt Boyd, Dan Cunha, Ramon Close, Dean Briggs, Josh Woolley, Tom Strickland, Richie Hurland, Sam Roper, Luke Plummer and Jimmy Fairgrieve, who survived a late fitness test. The reserves are Jared Pollock, Alex Warrilow, Isaac Colgrave, Jordan Dozzi and Sam Cronin. As we take a look now at the sponsors for Peninsula Power, we couldn't do this without them, and we thank the support of Rate International Freight and Furnex Commercial Furniture. The team lineup for Eastern Suburbs this afternoon, and coming into the starting 11 this week is Jordan Farina, the second leading goal scorer in the FQPL. So too is coming into the starting lineup John Louis and Baru Sheo, dropping back to the bench Kai Takamoto, as well as Tom Tobin. So that sets it up as we thank Eastern Suburbs major sponsor Laurenti's Fresh Food Market, helping power the Eastern Suburbs side this year. We'd also like to acknowledge Football Queensland's major sponsors. Football Queensland wishes to thank all its valuable sponsors for their support during the 2018 season. So just a few light drizzles potentially coming down on AJ Kelly Park. You can see the crowd is gathered on the balcony on the far side, and also in the 100 Club stand. I'd say we'd probably have around about 400 people here so far. As we just take a bit of a closer look at the crowd that is gathering at AJ Kelly Park. Before we get started, I might leave you with a prediction and let us know what you think on the Facebook comments of who you think might win this game. It's hard to see anything but a Peninsula Power victory here this afternoon based on their dominance right throughout the season, but stranger things have happened in grand finals. I'm told that's the Tigers den there on the far side, up on the upper deck. The man shouting is Eastern Suburbs President Glenn Brown, telling me before the game he's obviously predicting a Eastern Suburbs victory to the tune of 3-2. He'll be a very happy man should the Tigers be the only side to defeat Peninsula Power in 2018. The two teams are ready to come out on the pitch. It'll be Jordan Farina, the Eastern Suburbs captain, leading the Tigers out onto AJ Kelly Park, and the stand-in captain for Peninsula Power in the absence of Trent McAvoy is Richie Hurlin. So out we come. Both sides will no doubt get a hearty round of applause from the crowd on hand here on the Redcliffe Peninsula. Peninsula Power in their customary blue strip, Eastern Suburbs in the orange and black stripes. Both sides being led on to the field by the accompanying mascots. We're not too far away from getting this inaugural FQPL Grand Final underway. So 24 wins, as I said, so far for Peninsula Power, looking to get to the quarter century this afternoon to clinch the FQPL Grand Finals winner crown. Eastern Suburbs, a record of 17 wins, including their semi-final win last weekend, 2 draws and 6 losses. Of course, both these sides finishing first and second, promoted to next year's NPL Queensland. Going through the customary pre-game rituals, shaking each other's hands as well as the match officials. And our match officials this afternoon powered by Total Tools. Our referee is Lara Lee, and she'll be assisted by Miss Sook Park and Oleg Labutz, and Marty Krennis will be our 4th official this afternoon, who refereed the semi-final between Eastern Suburbs and Logan last weekend. Jordy Farina having a bit of a think of which way he'll go after the coin toss, just lightening the situation out there with Richie Hurlin, who's also got a bit of a smile on his face. So the match officials exchange their final handshakes as well. And we'll be underway here very shortly at AJ Kelly Park. Both teams in their final pre-match huddle. So Peninsula Power break away from their huddle. They'll be going down to the southern end of the park as both sides change sides. The Eastern Suburbs keeper, Sam Long, just having a feel of the match ball. So too is Jake Reesby. Might be a bit slippery out there with the rain we've had in recent days in the greater Brisbane area. And it looks like it will be Peninsula Power that'll have first possession of the ball in this FQPL Grand Final. Ramon Close with the match ball at his feet. Bit of rain starting to drift in to the Redcliffe area. Might hit us in the next 15 minutes or so. Perhaps peteling out a bit as it makes his way to the coast. That rain coming in from virtually behind the 100 Club grandstand on the far side of the pitch. Ramon Close, just a final dribble of the ball to get familiar with the circumstances here at AJ Kelly Park. The inaugural FQPL Grand Final is underway. It's first versus second. Peninsula Power up against Eastern Suburbs, and already a couple of players slipping inside the centre circle. And the first offside flag of the afternoon against Peninsula Power. It's Leggett at the back for Eastern Suburbs. Barnett. Touch back there from Coulson, sent forward by Net in search of Farina up front, who's got the captain's armband back for Eastern Suburbs this afternoon. Already plenty of chat on the sideline. Coulson saw him score the opener last week in that 3-0 victory against Logan Lightning. Away by Boyd, and now at the feet of Sam Long in the Eastern Suburbs goal. Marusheo. Junior slides the ball forward for Ramon Close. Strickland and Briggs, the leading scorer for the Power in 2018 with 22 goals across the regular season and last week's semi-final. Tried to find Briggs on that far side, but Marusheo able to get to the ball first. Touched back by Fairgrieve, who came into this game under a bit of a injury cloud. Barnett. Shaw was his target, couldn't link up. Now it's Woolley for the Power, playing a square along the back three. Hurlin on that left-hand touchline, plays it down the line once again. Just the slippery surface at AJ Kelly might have an impact on this game, with Dean Briggs slipping over. All forward, touch back by Yango for the rangy Shoal. Farina then for Ballaretso, who's a scorer also last week. Coulson delivers to the byline and slots his cross in, and the first touch of the ball in his hands this afternoon for the Peninsula Power keeper in Jake Reesby. What a record that Peninsula Power have had. We talk about defence and Jake Reesby. They've not conceded in their last 7 games, Peninsula Power. The last time that they conceded a goal coming into this game was at 8:31 p.m. all the way back on the 4th of July, so almost 2 months ago. A massive 644 minutes of football played since they conceded in a 3-1 victory over Southside Eagles at Perry Park in a midweek catch-up game back in early July, as I said. Hurlin's tripped up there, so free kick for the Power early on in this encounter. So Eastern Suburbs defence starting to organise itself. The lights are already on at AJ Kelly. It's a bit of a dismal day. Started off rainy down my way and then had a bit of a sun in the early afternoon before the rain came back in as Hurlin thinks this one over. There's a challenge on the keeper, and Matt Boyd coming up against his former club this afternoon, having a few discussions there with Lara Lee. Some think that goalkeepers are a protected species. Thanks for having you watch on Riley Navarrete this afternoon. And certain Corinne from Heritage Park watching on this afternoon. Good to have your company, Corinne. Away there by Boyd. Eastern Suburbs had a late season charge to overtake Logan to finish second spot. Only lost one of their last 12 games. Their last loss was against South a couple of weeks ago, but before that it was that early season encounter in round 15 against Peninsula Power where Power absolutely shellacked Eastern Suburbs 6-1 down here at AJ Kelly Park. Back in round 2 it was 3-0 Peninsula Power's way against Eastern Suburbs. Barnett. Coulson. Farina. Scholl. Came to by 2 defenders, and Fairgrieve came in the nick of time. Now look to launch a counter immediately. So the aggregate this year for Peninsula over Eastern Suburbs is a massive 9-1. The lone goal for Eastern Suburbs in that heavy defeat back in May was Uil Scholl. Here's Sam Roper. Plummer. Junior, another former Tiger, going up against his old club this afternoon. Can Briggs keep that one in on the far side? He's been able to. Briggs looks up, spots what's ahead of him, and Long gets to the ball in front of the advancing player at the back post. Looked to be Josh Woolley. Leggett. Sends the ball searching too far this time for Coulson, who shows a bit of frustration to his centre back. Both go into this match today, certainly in red hot goal scoring fashion. Both sides have scored 20 goals in their last 5 encounters in the FQPL. A bit of a struggle there between Mbar Usheo and Dean Briggs. And some words exchanged. It'll be a free kick, or is it? No, it's a throw-in going Eastern Suburbs way. Another free kick, this time to Scholl, just inside the defensive territory of the Tigers. Already you can see both sets of supporters riding every challenge, every refereeing decision, as you'd expect in a grand final. No short for Bellarezzo. And an offside flag goes up against Yango on the far side, who pleads his case to Oleg Labutz. Roper. This is Boyd. Close. Here's the opposite equation of Dan Cunha. Close, another former Eastern Suburbs Tiger out there this evening. 3 of them in Matt Boyd, Dan Cunha and Ramon Close. Reesby will depart his area to play that one at his feet and then play it back for his keeper again. Plummer. Hurlin up against Yango. Boyd. Hurlin tried the crossfield, ends up at the under number 11 for Eastern Suburbs, his counterpart, or his opposite in Scott Coulson. cagey opening to this one. No clear shots on goal so far. Both sides certainly feeling each other out. Has been well over 3 months since they last came up against each other back in late May. I feel that the way that they have been going, both these sides, in an attacking sense, that will eventually open up. And once again, Lara Lee's getting plenty of feedback from the balcony on the far side. Briggs has been upended on the halfway line, and Abiango, John Louis and Barucheo that I'm talking to. Let's have a look at this on the replay, and Barucheo just mistimed the tackle and collected Briggs. Second clash between those two this afternoon. It's resulted in a bit of a tussle. It was a somewhat fiery one, not really, but back in round 2 where Jake Reesby for Peninsula was sent off along with Jordan Farina. Those two tangling in a challenge inside the box. Farina going for a challenge on the ball against the keeper, and Jake Reesby took exception to it, and both of them found themselves having an early shower. And there they are again, Farina up against Reesby. Woolley. And again, another willing challenge, and Lara Lee will issue her first yellow card of the afternoon to Jordy Farina, it looks like. Woolley remains down in the background. Let's have a look at that again. He's just clipped him on the way through. Jordy Farina. So first player into Lara Lee's notebook this afternoon. Matt Rayner predicting a Uweel Shoal early goal inside the first 15. Well, almost at that point of the game. Roslyn Minikin cheering on East this afternoon. Good afternoon, MD Raw. And Justin McMullen backing the East Rejects today to beat East today. Just mentioning those 3 former Eastern Suburbs players playing for Peninsula. And Matt Boyd to score a double according to the Bulldogs' Justin McMullen. Here's Farina searching for Uweel Shoal. Boyd playing it short. Now it's sent long. Briggs was looking to be launched on his bike. But when it comes to grand finals, it's been a long time between drinks for Eastern Suburbs. Posted a photo on their Facebook page during the week of a program from 1989 when they were in the 4X League grand final. John Syme was the coach for Eastern Suburbs on that day. Now at Lions as the technical director. Also played in a 2000 Division 1 grand final, the Tigers. It is few and far between when the Tigers have actually played in a season decider. Their opponents, however, only haven't been formed in the year 2000. It's been a different story. Successive Flight Centre Brisbane Premier League grand finals in 13, 14, 15 and victories in each of those, including comprehensive victories against Lions in 2013, 5-0, and Wolves 5-1 in 2014. Warren Moon and Scott McNichol charges co-coaches. There's a Peninsula player down on the ground here. Just waiting to see if the physio will be brought out. He will be. So a break in play. I think it's Matt Boyd that's being attended to. Just grabbing a sip of water. Back to his feet. And Boyd will be asked to retire to the sideline to leave Power with 10 men momentarily. Restart play with a drop ball. Jake Reesby will be able to send Power on their way again as Matt Boyd returns to the pitch, so Power back to the full complement of 11. Losing out that time was close. Farina. Will Roper be able to get to it in front of Belloretto? He can. Winning the ball back were the Tigers through Belloretto. Barnett. Scholl's got goal side of the defender. And first real shot in anger of this game slides across the face of goal from Uweal Scholl. Through ball by Barnett, and Scholl took it. And Reesby just tracked it across the goal. Saw it skittle the other side of the right-hand upright. This is Plummer, scored his first goal in one of our live stream games here at AJ Kelly. From memory, that was against the Ipswich Knights. Power having a 3-0 victory that day. Meant that every player on the team sheet, bar the keeper Jake Reesby, had scored a goal for Power in 2018. It's another dead ball situation here for the Tigers to deal with in defence. Free kick is driven in. Farina up against Woolley. And once again, the referee's whistle has been blown. A late challenge on Farina after he cleared the ball.
Josh, let's go! Let's go! Come on! Josh, let's go!
Just a bit of hesitation from the Tigers in taking this free kick just inside their defensive territory. Sent long towards the area, nodded back by Cunha, and it'll be Reesby to scoop up here for Peninsula. So almost 20 minutes completed. A couple of raindrops begin to appear on our camera. I figure this game is going to have to liven up very shortly. Briggs, he'd be the man that Power will be looking to. Early stats have possession 69-31 Peninsula's way. Cunha, and then the turn from Woolley falls wide of the upright. That just the first shot of the game for Peninsula. Power off target. Similar for Eastern Suburbs, just the one shot. None on target from either side. So 20 minutes through and just the one shot at goal for both these sides, reflecting the cagey early opening. As we keep on saying, the Peninsula Power What a great season they've had as Eastern Suburbs fall momentarily asleep, and Close picks up on the ball. Woolley off the left boot. And it's going in there. Dean Briggs, who else? Scores the first goal for Peninsula Power, 20 minutes in. The crucial giveaway there by Eastern Suburbs. Close was the man who took advantage for Peninsula Power initially. Woolley sized up Barnett. Perfect cross in. Briggs got goal side. Questions being asked in the Eastern Suburbs defence, but it's Peninsula Power who open up the scoring. As the rain begins to tumble down at AJ Kelly. The deadlock broken. The first shot on target from either side results in a Peninsula Power goal. So Eastern Suburbs now to have to come from behind. In that 6-1 victory that Power had against Eastern Suburbs, it was 1-1 after the first goal was scored by Peninsula. Quick reply from Scholl. And perhaps Coulson is the man to deliver it here as he tries to sneak it in at the near post. But Jake Reesby awake to it and fallen wide of the target anyway. So do Eastern Suburbs have an answer? Two defenders come to Plummer. Just content to hold possession at the moment, Power. It's almost in slow motion, this game. Take him on is the call. And Woolley will do exactly that against Barnett. Quick 1-2 with Close. And it slides past Josh Woolley. 6 goals this year for Peninsula Power. So just a reminder that the grand final action continues tomorrow. Firstly at 3 p.m. It's the NPLW Grand Final. Darren Lutton and Karen Longbottom will have your call for that one at the Walton Bridge Reserve between the Gap and the Raw NTC. We'll come back to the NPL Grand Final in just a moment as Yango shapes up against the two defenders. Barucheo. Nodded on by Coulson. Spectacular little dive from Geordie Farina. Yes, that men's NPL Queensland Grand Final for you tomorrow afternoon from Lions Stadium at 5 p.m. It's 1 versus 2 there as well. These sides have met 3 times this year, Lions and Olympic, and it's only been a goal between them on all 3 occasions. So shapes up to be an exciting affair tomorrow. You can join Darren Lutton and Jonty Richter from 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon for the NPL Men's Grand Final between Lions and Olympic. Certainly Peninsula Power not dealing too badly with the loss of their skipper Trent McAvoy, who's currently in the UK on a bit of a sojourn. Just having returned back from there is the Peninsula assistant coach Ben Ryan. Had a wedding over there for one of their mates. Managed to scramble out of that one okay. Eastern Suburbs. Yeah, Ben Ryan was telling me about an awful ordeal that he had on his flight back, having to be on a drip in a stopover. Coming back midweek. Looks all right now. He's sitting on the bench today for Peninsula Power, back in the assistant coach role after missing the last couple of games. Is he knocked over? Yes, says referee Lara Lee. Sandwiched between the two East players was Dean Briggs. Free kick taken, trying to catch East unawares. Lobs over the crossbar. Thankfully for the Tigers, not in between the sticks, and the deficit remains at 1 for the time being. Good win in the air there by Plummer. Oh yes, the appreciation of the balconies. Briggs picks up on that ball and met by Long at the near post. Sublime skills there from Dean Briggs on that left-hand side. Let's grab another look at that touch from Dean Briggs as this ball came in high and long, and a great first touch. So we go back to live action. It's Fairgrieve. Then continues on his run as he plays in Plummer. Here's Fairgrieve again. There's all sorts of players slipping and sliding on this slippery surface. Secondary ball into the box, and Coulson will be on hand to deal with it for the Tigers. Got plenty of space to move in. He's got Barnett on his left. It's Pete Davidson there. You can just see in the corner of screen. It's taking the reins at Eastern Suburbs today in the absence of coach Danny Wright at a wedding in Italy. And has already been texting the Eastern Suburbs boys on the balcony on the far side. So good afternoon or good morning to you in Italy, Danny Wright. Hopefully for your sake we can deliver a Tigers victory for you today. Good running. Oh, spectacularly upended. And a yellow card shown to Matt Boyd. Abiango it was that was brought down and still remains down. Referee Lara Lee completing the paperwork, I should say, in her notebook is what I was trying to say. He's just taking a moment to compose himself. The former Raw man, Abiango. And we've told you over the last few weeks that the action doesn't stop when the outdoor season stops this weekend. South East Queensland Futsal Premier League kicking off on the 29th of September, and you can find all the details at footballqueensland.com.au/SEQ Futsal. So Farina is one man over this free kick for Eastern Suburbs. He's going to leave it for Scott Coulson, it looks like. 4 defending the wall for Peninsula. The free kick is driven in low. And a good save from Jake Reesby. And a bit of push and shove there as a heavy divot is taken out of the pitch. Let's grab a look at that effort again here from the dead ball situation. It's a bit of a tricky one for Reesby to deal with. Might have been blindsided by the wall there. A little bit of a late reaction, but as we said, it was 644 minutes without conceding a goal for Peninsula coming into this game. Another 30, so 674 minutes of football. And Jake Reesby hasn't seen a ball past his custodianship in that amount of time. So half an hour gone. If you have just joined us, it was Dean Briggs that scored for Peninsula Power, his 23rd goal of the season in the 21st minute. After a very cagey exchange between both sides. Certainly no quarter given between these two sides. Taking on and making it a 100% challenge on all occasions. Again, Coulson tries to conjure up something for his side, and another free kick and another player going into the notebook. So out of the 3 former Eastern Suburbs players, 2 are now in the notebook, with Daniel Cunha joining Matt Boyd. This time, was it Yango again that was the subject of the scrutiny of the Peninsula players? So similar position again here for the Tigers from the dead ball opportunity. Eastern Suburbs man inserting himself into the Peninsula defensive setup from the wall. Briggs is going to leave it. There's another man joining in for the Tigers. I think it's Scholl and Farina. The wall jumps, and then an easier effort for Reesby to deal with the second time around. Keeper really looking to put the pressure on the East Custodian and Sam Long. Scholl can't get sight of it. Woolley playing wider on the left for Peninsula that time round. Briggs and Roper, the distinctive red hair with the ponytail. Gives away the ball cheaply to Mbari Sheo. Plummer for Boyd. Now on this right-hand wing, Fairgrieve. Looks to be going about his work without any inconvenience. There was some concern from the Peninsula coaching setup going into today's game that he might not be able to firstly get through the warm-up and then actually get through the game itself. Close. Releases Fairgrieve, who battles in the heavy going. Towards the penalty spot. Briggs has the second. 34 minutes in, Dean Briggs adds to his 21st minute goal. And Peninsula Power have doubled their advantage on grand final day. The ball in from Fairgrieve in towards the penalty spot. East initially thought they'd done enough to defend away, but once again, you can't give any room to Dean Briggs. He'll make you pay. Slots it away for the second. And 10 minutes from half-time, Peninsula Power are coasting at the moment and look to be headed away to complete a perfect undefeated season. But there'll still be plenty of fight from the Tigers. They'll need to show some fight. Really haven't tested Reesby too much. But you figure from here on in it's going to be all-out attack for the Tigers. Sure they won't go down wondering. Almost a bit of confusion. The power bench calling for Long, collecting the ball outside the area. Mr. Park, the assistant referee, would have nothing to do with those claims. So what do you reckon, folks? 10 minutes from the halftime break. Can you see a way back for the Tigers? You'd fancy they'd need to score at least one before Oranges to give themselves a chance in the remainder of this FQPL Grand Final. Farina. Winning challenge from Bellarezzo. Earns the side back the ball. Scholl. Scholl deflects. Could have deflected anywhere. Just going to hold up in the heavy conditions, but will eventually fall out for an Eastern Suburbs corner. Can this be the chance that sparks an East revival? In comes the corner, and Reesby virtually unchallenged. In fact, totally unchallenged. Only had blue shirts around him and just rose highest to the ball. So it looks like that Eastern Suburbs are about to make a change. Whether that's by design or through injury. So it looks like Matt Sauer in 17 will be coming on. Farina's signalling for the player to come on. So Sauer's on, and Ambari Sheo is the man that looks to be wandering to the dressing rooms on the far side. So his day's done. 37 minutes in. The East's technical area have rung the first change. Matty Sauer. Formerly at Toowong. Toowong playing at AJ Kelly after this game is done in the Viva Brisbane Capital League 1 semi-final against Caboolture. Bit of an interchange of players between Toowong and Eastern Suburbs over the years. These boys telling me they're going to hang around and watch that semi-final. Former Eastern Suburbs reserve coach Claude Capelli in charge of Toowong these days, and President's son, Glenn Brown, plays for Toowong. Got Mick Costello. What an extravagant, I don't know whether extravagant's the right word, but watching on from the Inpex offshore platform in the Timor Sea. Well, Mick, I don't think you're going to find anyone else watching on from that location, so I think you're going to be the clear winner this afternoon in terms of unique positions that people are watching in from. And thanks for your viewership this afternoon, and indeed, no matter where you are watching in from this afternoon. As we start to drift towards dusk, the artificial light slowly taking over from the natural light here on the Redcliffe Peninsula. Of course, follow Football Queensland on our social media channels. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. Football Queensland's there. Coulson's free kick and away by Roper. And another corner here for the Tigers that Coulson will trudge over to take. Good old meat tray taking place at AJ Kelly, the latest winner being announced over the PA. Sadly, I don't have the winning number this time round. Probably should have a ticket in to be in it to win it to start with, I guess. Away by Roper, only as far as Scholl, who takes a touch on the ball. Back out for Coulson. Zigzags around Roper. Cuts back, Bellarezzo. And out for a goal kick. Farina was lurking, who's held in close quarters by Matt Boyd. So we'll grab a second look at that. Coulson on for Bellarezzo. And it doesn't take a touch off the experienced central defender for Peninsula on the way through. So 5 minutes to go until Referee Lara Lee blows the half-time whistle, plus, of course, any stoppages that might result. Phil Davis. I didn't get a grand final program. I tried to find one, Phil. Regular writer of the previews in the match program down here at Peninsula Power. He's tipping East to spring an upset. It's not going that way so far. Instructions being barked out by both sets of supporters. Once again, great to have you on board, Pete Cabassi. Son Jack now at South, but former teammates with Dean Briggs in their time at the Holland Park Hawks. Where Briggsy was with assistant coach of Peninsula, Ben Ryan, who was the head coach at Holland Park a few years back. So you figure that Peninsula just be content to hold on to possession, see themselves go into the break with this 2-goal lead, although they never say never when it comes to searching for goals. Substitute Matt Sauer has made a friend of himself already down at AJ Kelly Park as he upends Sam Roper in this exchange. So waiting this free kick to come in from the hosts. Woolley. Briggs with the distinctive red boots out there this afternoon. Eastern Suburbs players come deep, trying to search for the ball. Coulson tries to slide it in behind Cunha. Almost opened up there for Farina, but the flag was up for offside. Hello, Roseanne Burley, watching in from Sri Lanka. No doubt with Andy Coulson, his son out there, Scott, for Eastern Suburbs this afternoon. I don't think Andy was very excited about his trip to Sri Lanka that he was taking. I think he only counted it down for 10 weeks or so. Good to see you enjoying your holiday over there, Rosie and Andy. Hopefully, for your sake, things turn around a little. It's Woolley. He has to slow down as he is confronted by Barnett and Leggett. There is Scott Coulson. Cunha and Fairgrieve. Close. Perhaps there is time for one more for Peninsula before the break. Clever work there from Close. Cunha just hold the ball up momentarily. Thought he got around Barnett. Barnett had other ideas. Coulson playing it square. Fulton's been quiet through this first half so far. Is there a free kick there? No, says the referee. Maybe she was trying to play some sort of advantage. We're about to get an indication of how much stoppage time there will be. There'll be 2 minutes of time added on in this first half of the Football Queensland Premier League Grand Final. Can Woolley chase this one down against Barnett? Comes back for his keeper. Sends a high ball long into halfway. Fairgrieve was first to it. Fulton got a touch on it. Strickland also been a bit quiet, the two number 10s for respective sides. Plenty of shouts coming from the Peninsula bench in front of us. Every throw-in being contested. Junior evades the grasp of Farina. Uncharacteristically gives it away. He's already sitting on a yellow card, Dan Cunha, so dicing with a bit of danger. Abiango let his thoughts known. He's got a smile on his face though, Abiango. So final seconds of this second half, or first half, ticking away. I'm getting ahead of myself. Sauer. And a final corner for Eastern Suburbs. So coming short, looking forward is Scholl. It's a short corner for the Tigers. Away by Peninsula, and the half-time whistle is blown by Lara Lee. And at the break, it's Peninsula Power who lead Eastern Suburbs by 2-0 in this Football Queensland Premier League Grand Final. Both goals coming the way of Dean Briggs on 21 minutes and 34 minutes as we take you back through the first half highlights, and Luke Plummer wide of the target there for Power, and then we saw the first yellow card of the afternoon going Geordie Farina's way. Yuil Scholl looked to conjure something up for the Tigers, but could only see his effort slide across the face of goal. Cunha then tried to provide provider for Woolley, who sent his shot wide of the target. And then Woolley was getting involved again. This pinpoint cross in for Dean Briggs, who made no mistake, scoring on 21 minutes. Tigers trying to find their way back to level pegging, but Coulson could only find the side of the net on that occasion. Opening up again here, Briggs the man for Peninsula Power, but denied by Long that time round. And a spectacular upending there of Abiango, and Matt Boyd went into the referee's notebook. The resulting free kick from Coulson tested Jake Reesby, but still Eastern Suburbs couldn't find the back of the net. They kept valiantly fighting Eastern Suburbs, and Dan Cunha then ended up at the ire of the referee. Another free kick to Scott Coulson. A little bit easier for Jake Reesby to deal with that time round. And then once again it was Dean Briggs, and that pretty much forced the change, it looked like, of John Louis Mbarusheo, guilty of not marking Dean Briggs. He was taken off the field, replaced by Matt Sauer, and that's how we've got to half-time in this Football Queensland Premier League Grand Final. Both goals to Dean Briggs. At the break, it's Peninsula Power 2, Eastern Suburbs 0.
I could watch them all day. Even though here, you don't feel like you need to. These are the moments I'll remember. You see, to me, it's not so much just having us all together, but finding a place that really brings us together. That's what makes Oaks Oasis special. When you only get a few chances, it's important to make them count. After all, memories don't make themselves.
Football is my favourite. I love playing it with my friends.
When I score a goal, I celebrate and dream of playing for the Caltex Suburbs.
And this is where it all starts, with the Aldi Mini Roos kick-off program. I grab my shin pads, boot bag, drink bottle and bowl, then join my mates for some fun.
It's great. We learn new skills every week through games and activities. These help us learn about teamwork and respect for others.
My mum cheers me on the sidelines. She loves watching me play. She likes it that football is such a safe sport.
But best of all,
we make lots of new friends.
And if we are lucky, we might run into the Aldi Mini Roos ambassadors.
Wow, it's Archie Thompson. He's a legend.
And Steph Matlick from the Westfield Matildas. She is amazing.
Come and join Australia's biggest football program for kids. Come and join us.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
Today.
I could watch them all day. Even though here, you don't feel like you need to. These are the moments I'll remember. You see, to me, it's not so much just having us all together, but finding a place that really brings us together. That's what makes Oaks Oasis special. When you only get a few chances, it's important to make them count. After all, memories don't make themselves.
Football is my favourite. I love playing it with my friends.
When I score a goal, I celebrate and dream of playing for the Caltex Suburbs.
And this is where it all starts, with the Aldi Mini Roos kick-off program. I grab my shin pads, boot bag, drink bottle and bowl, then join my mates for some fun.
It's great. We learn new skills every week through games and activities. These help us learn about teamwork and respect for others.
My mum cheers me on the sidelines. She loves watching me play. She likes it that football is such a safe sport.
But best of all,
We make lots of new friends.
And if we are lucky, we might run into the LD Miniroos ambassadors.
Wow, it's Archie Thompson. He's a legend. And Steph Catley from the Westfield Matildas. She is amazing. Come and join Australia's biggest football program for kids. Come and join us.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
So both teams back out on the park for the second half of this Football Queensland Premier League Grand Final. Dean Briggs has scored both the goals for Peninsula Power as the best halftime music around the grounds. That's my vote for the year. Always good for a bit of a dance and halftime here at AJ Kelly, where the hosts lead 2-0. So just some final instructions being given by Pete Davidson, who's taken the shelter of the umbrella. Dean Briggs and Marty Crennis exchange a few light words. The rain is tumbling down here at AJ Kelly. As you can see, the sun setting in the west. Those distinctive red hues in the western sky. Shouldn't be too long until the rain clears again. A bit of a heavy band currently coming through the Redcliffe Peninsula, but maybe in the next 10 or 15 minutes or so, we'll be back to clear weather. Geordie Farina will be the man to get this underway in this second half. It's the Power who currently lead the Tigers by 2 goals, 2-0. And East look to signal their intent from the get-go. Really need to find an early goal to get themselves back into this grand final and upset Peninsula Power's undefeated streak as they're about to tick over 700 minutes without conceding a goal. That will come up in around about 20 seconds' time. What's that, 11 hours and 40 minutes? Incredible stuff from Peninsula Power to really put an exclamation mark on their season. And there's the dual goal scorer, Dean Briggs. As indeed that rain is easing off over AJ Kelly. Really pretty much the heavy stuff hit us while the players were in the sheds. Slowed down to a bit of a drizzle now. Richie Hurlin will be one man familiar with this kind of weather from Scotland. We're just commenting on it. We don't normally see the rain at this time of year. It's normally hot and humid, starting to head into September. Hurlin, it comes for close. Patient here from Peninsula. Early doors in this second half. Plummer for Boyd. Roper it was, attempting to link up with Strickland. A lofted ball towards Farina. And Hurlin will backtrack to retrieve it on this near touchline. Backheel by Farina. There's no one in an orange shirt in close proximity, however. Strickland. And has close beaten the trap. He withdrew from the play because the assistant's flag was ready to go up on that far side. Just learnt in the half-time break that substitution of John Louis Mbari-Sheo was pretty much driven by Jordan Farina. Came to the bench, had a chat and basically said that he has to go, and the coach duly obliged. This is Yango, however. Scholl. Farina. Farina off the left foot, shut down by Plummer. And Bellarezzo can't get a shot towards goal. Coulson. Barnett. And Roper intervenes for Peninsula. And the referee has blown the whistle for a slight infringement on Sam Roper that nonetheless impeded his passage. So what do you think, folks? Will Peninsula hang on from this point on and keep the unbeaten season alive to clinch the 2018 FQPL Grand Final? Or can the Tigers mount a fight back to potentially send this one into extra time, or perhaps score 3 times to clinch a winner inside the 90 minutes? Let us know your thoughts on the Facebook post of the live stream. Barnett's going to try and do his best to pull one back. And Fairgrieve forced into playing a corner here. And the crowd on hand tonight, 1,020. So good handy turnout at AJ Kelly on the final day of the FQPL. 4 figures recorded. 5 minutes into the second half. And the rain just probably interfering a little bit with our focus on the camera. Just a bit blurry at the moment. Is there a change being made? So Jimmy Fairgrieve is going to make his way across to the sideline to be replaced by Alex Warrilow. We can see Jimmy Fairgrieve, as I said, came into the match under a bit of an injury cloud. Won't get through the full 90. 5 minutes into the second half. Mid-season recruit from Redlands. Here's the man, Alex Warrilow, to come on and replace Jimmy Fairgrieve. And Jimmy Fairgrieve normally plays in a right-back position. Alex Warrilow up front, so that'll cause a bit of a reshuffle in the power setup. Try and see if we can detect that in a moment. Meanwhile, the corner is taken, cleared away by Cunha. Half a scare there for power. Coulson again delivers into the box. There were hands on shoulders. There's an Eastern Suburbs player down. This one directed into the back stick. It's going everywhere but close towards goal for Eastern Suburbs at the moment. Right cheer goes out from the 1,000-strong crowd at AJ Kelly. See if we can pick up on that change in formation potentially for Peninsula in just a moment. Second ball out on the field that will be retrieved and allow play to restart. It actually looks like Alex Warrilow will play at right back for the time being. Briggs, we've seen him on the left primarily through this game. Operating more on the other side of the park just for the time being. Although there's now a switch with Ramon Close. We see on the ball there, Warrilow delivers, cut out by Leggett. And it's taken a wicked spin out for a throw-in rather than a goal kick. Touched on by Farina, Scholl and Yango. Front three for East linking up there. And Hurlin again with the defensive effort for the home side. Ball delivered by Fulton. It'll be Woolley for power. And a free kick going the host way, I think. The Woolley family watching on from England. late morning on a Saturday. Great to have your company, and the Woolley family be happy with how things are proceeding. Almost 10 minutes into this second half with Power having the 2-goal lead. Leggett gave it away to Warrilow. Breaks here for Peninsula. And there is the aforementioned Josh Woolley. Earning inside a corner. Host of blue shirts getting forward now to try and meet Hurlin's corner attempt. Players angling in all directions. Or has it gone in? It hasn't. The net rippled. Some of the Power supporters were going up in joy of potentially extending their lead again, but it was onto the top of the net that time round. Possession still overwhelmingly Peninsula's way, 64% to Eastern Suburbs, 36%. Was he got him off his line? Long backtrack, so I don't think he got a touch on it in the end. And despite the scoreline, it's both sides with 6 shots at goal each. The Peninsula player down on the halfway line. Is it Rishi Hurlin? Play just going to momentarily stop for... It's giving the thumbs up to the bench. He's okay to proceed, but it's now 7 shots at goal to Peninsula. 3 of those on target to 6 for Eastern Suburbs, and 2 of those being on target. So despite the scoreline, in terms of shots and that statistic, it's relatively even, but it's Peninsula who have been able to convert the chances that they've had. Hurlin. Down the line in search of Briggs. Held at close quarters by Matt Sauer. Evening to Rossi Ross. Assistant coach at Logan, who were defeated by Eastern Suburbs last week. Yes, the pitch is holding up pretty well despite the rain. There's been times when it's rained here through the season and the pitch has got quite heavy. I particularly remember the FFA Cup game that the Strikers played here against Peninsula Power back in round 6, if memory serves me correct. Might have been round 5. And hassled off the ball unfairly with Strickland. And it's Luke Leggett. That is the 4th player in Talara Lee's notebook. Let's have a second look at this. Yeah, he hasn't got him shoulder to shoulder. Leggett. There was contact potentially pushing Strickland off the ball. Dan Cunha's good for a chat in there. Former Eastern Suburbs teammates exchanging words. Scott Coulson goes up to Sam Roper, who's also chiming in with his contribution. There's no shortage of players out there that are willing to give their opinion. So Briggs and Hurlin. There's 6 in the wall, 5 in the wall for Eastern Suburbs. There's a 6th right at the edge, squeezed in between 2 Peninsula players. A host of players in that defensive wall. It will be Hurlin that has it, tries to chip it over Found the upright. And Richie Hurlin renowned from the dead ball situation. A touch off the outside of the upright. As Richie Hurlin was looking to get himself onto the team sheet. Almost an hour into this FQPL season decider. If you have just joined us, Dean Briggs has scored both of the goals in the 21st and the 34th minute. It was pretty cagey in the opening exchanges before the first goal came Dean Briggs' way, adding to it 10 minutes from the halftime break. And Peninsula Power keep on reasserting their dominance in the FQPL this season. Half an hour to play, and they have a 2-0 lead in this grand final. Flag will go up for offside on the far side. Shoal up against Warrellow. The whistle blows again. Decision will go Peninsula Power's way, and the Eastern Suburbs supporters in the crowd letting their opinion know of Lara Lee. Reesby looks to set his side away. Junior. Pressing on the ball there were Eastern Suburbs in an attempt to pressure Peninsula out of it. Hoofed away by Powder out of their own half in the hands of Sam Long. And as epitomised by those shots on goal stats, hasn't had a lot to do despite conceding the 2 goals. Aidan Trennant, thanks very much for watching on. Yes, these 2 clubs look as though they will be competitive in the NPL in 2019. Both these sides will be joining the top flight after having been promoted, finishing first and second in the regular season of the FQPL. Looks like Eastern Suburbs about to make a change. Kei Takamoto in jersey 22 will be coming on for Eastern Suburbs. The man coming off, sounds like it's Jordan Farina coming off. Just out of our camera shot. Yes, it is the East skipper coming off, having to detour to hand off the captain's armband. Takamoto started off the season at Logan Lightning before finding his way to Heath Park. Played against his former side last week in the semi-final. They've just been in a league of their own this year, Peninsula Power. Seems as though we're drifting off to the obvious finality of them clinching this FQPL Grand Final. Not too many answers coming from the Tigers for the time being. Maybe Takamoto might be the spark that reinvigorates the visiting side this evening. Matty Sauer will certainly look to have his say. The former Moreton Bay United man in the NPL. Taken first time. Didn't work out for Coulson. It's Scholl in the box, the Golden Boot winner. And he gives away the ball to Warrilow. Yango. Skimming shot attempt from Coulson. Briggs, has he got another one in him? The Peninsula Power supporters certainly willing him on to collect a hat-trick in the grand final. The only blip on the radar for Peninsula Power this year came in the FFA Cup in round 7. Most certainly me at least thought that it was a 50-50 game up against the NPL Premiers Lions FC, but an absolute rout by Lions that night at Lions Stadium and a comprehensive 6-0 victory. As I said, that's been the only blot on the copybook for Peninsula Power during this 2018 season. The NPL Premiers defeating the FQPL Premiers. Perhaps the only other team that can stop the charge of Peninsula Power is the Brisbane Roar Hyundai A-League side that travel out to AJ Kelly Park next Saturday for a friendly against the FQPL Premiers. No doubt a big crowd on hand for that game. Brisbane Roar continue their pre-season preparations. In a couple of weeks, come up against a Brisbane Premier League select side down at the Logan Metro Football Complex. The Roar having a open training session down there this morning. Well attended from what I saw when I was down that way today. So at the feet of Long. Sauer. Barnett. Hassled there by two defenders. Has he got the free kick decision? He has, and a yellow card to a Peninsula player to boot. Looks like Alex Warrilow, the man that would be booked. So the substitute, fifth yellow card of the evening. We wait this free kick from the Tigers. Waiting Lara Lee's signal. Just asked the Peninsula man to retreat another couple of steps. Free kick banged in. Basically evaded everyone. And then Takamoto slips over while he tries and retrieves the ball. A bit of frustration there at close in not playing the ball into the right area. That allows Eastern Suburbs a chance to recompose themselves. And another corner here for the Tigers. So just a reminder, there's more grand final action for you tomorrow. Firstly, the NPL Women's Grand Final from the Walton Bridge Reserve between the Gap and the Brisbane Roar NTC. Darren Lutton, Karen Longbottom with you from 2:45 for that one. And then out at Lions Stadium, it's the NPL Men's Grand Final. Simon Smale and Jonty Richter from 4:45 for Lions versus Olympic. All that on the Football Queensland Facebook and YouTube channel. There's a clearance away from the line there by the Power. Belloretso straight into the feet of Briggs, deflects heavily for the Power player. Strickland, cut out by Takamoto. Margaret Bell still cheering on Eastern Suburbs, and Andy saying that Mav looks fresh. He had a haircut today. Spot him at, oh, here we go. Here's a cheap plug. Peter Michael's Barbershop at Everton Park. I'll let you get away with that one, Andy. So the change for Peninsula Power being made, it'll be Jordan Dozzy to come on in jersey 22 to replace Ramon Close. 20 minutes from time. Getting plugs away galore here tonight. Invoices will be forthcoming. So 20 minutes to play. And Eastern Suburbs look to get out of their territory to at least breathe some late hope into this game. And the offside flag will go up against Briggs, despite the cheers of the Peninsula Power faithful, thinking he might be zeroing in towards goal. There's a player down in the background for Peninsula Power. Lara Lee just over across to take a check. Physio coming on for Power, and I think that player indicating that he might need to be replaced. If Matt Boyd could just get out of the way, I'll be able to see who that player is, but it's Josh Woolley for Peninsula Power. And some ironic cheers coming in from the Eastern Suburbs supporters, saying now you finally blow the whistle to, or indicate that the watch has been stopped. And as reminded you over the last couple of weeks, the outdoor season wraps up this weekend, with the exception of the NPL National Finals next weekend, of course. But starting the 29th of September, it's time to turn our attention to the indoor small court game and the 2018 SEQ Futsal Premier League season. More information at footballqueensland.com.au/SEQ Football, as the replacement has taken place, with Sam Cronin coming on in jersey 23 to replace Josh Woolley. So I think that's the three substitutes for Peninsula. Yes, that would be right. I think. I'll have to count them up later. I'm sure we won't have a repeat of the situation that happened at Lions Stadium last week. Clarification during the week that no, definitely not an extra sub allowed during the extra time period in these NPL finals. I touched on the NPL National Final. Of course, we've got the grand final to get to first between Lions and Olympic tomorrow, but next week Lions will be backing up again as the Football Queensland representative in the NPL National Finals, taking on Northern New South Wales champions, the Edgeworth Eagles. Played against Moreton Bay in 2015 up in these climbs. Danny McBreen and Josh Rose in the Edgeworth Eagles side. Held there by Reesby. That game next Saturday night at Lions Stadium, 7:30 kickoff. As I said, a couple of grand finals to deal with first. That will be in Lions' eyes to start off with before they can turn attention to the national stage next weekend. Whistle does blow. Briggs looking for a free kick after being squeezed between Takamoto and Yango. I think there was some communication coming in from the assistant for Lara Lee. So quarter of an hour to play now. Strickland touches on for Briggs. There was a handball. It was more ball to hand, no, but referee Lara Lee will allow it. There's been a spectacular tumble. He's ended up on the outside of the fence over there. There's one of the Eastern Suburbs players. Scott Coulson, I think, did a magical tumble turn over the fence there. Let's grab a second look at that. Hasn't been too many highlights in this game, but bang, and Scott Coulson's over the fence into the crowd. Wasn't offered a hot dog or anything like that. Briggs. Leggett has taken up the captain's armband for Peninsula, and Yango is caught in an offside position, just didn't react to the movement of the Peninsula Power defence. Can Luke Plummer for perhaps find another goal for 2018 before this season ends in around about 14 minutes' time, unless East can pull off a miracle and send it to extra time. Here's Coulson, who you just saw moments ago take a tumble into the grandstand on the far side. Reesby in no hurry to clear. Ewell Shoal come away with the consolation of being in the Golden Boot in the inaugural FQPL season. Remarkable 35 goals from Ewell Shoal out of the total of 98 that the Tigers have scored this year. So quick maths tells me it's just over a third of the goals that Eastern Suburbs have scored this year have come from the number 9 in the orange and black. Starting to get a bit scrappy here towards the end and players getting frustrated. Looks like we're having another change. Yeah, looks like there's another change. It's Scott Fulton who comes off for Eastern Suburbs to replace by number 21, and that is Jared Lancaster. So both sides have now made their 3 changes. So this is it for both of them for the remaining 11 and a half minutes. No, she's not going to blow the whistle, Lara Lee. Probably should have. I mean, Sauer was holding Dozzy down. Perhaps showing a bit of mercy and compassion for the Tigers. All sorts of shouts coming from the Peninsula technical area, however. Away by Hurlin. And here is Dozzy, tallest striker in the land. Mid-season move from Mitchelton. He and Alex Warrilow very influential in their first few games for Peninsula Power. Basically scored most of the goals for Peninsula Power in their opening 3 games. The duo of Alex Warrilow and Jordan Dozzy. It's just not going right for East at the moment. This is Roper. Turned by Warrilow for Sam Cronin, who's had an injury interrupted season. Being recruited by Peninsula in the off-season. Played the first couple of games and suffered an injury, came back, was injured again. But available for selection again for Peninsula Power in the last 6 weeks or so. Sauer delivers in. No one waiting for the Tigers. Cronin can pretty much go off to the races if he likes. Threads it between the 2 Eastern Suburbs players. And Briggsy throws up the hand to say, yep, I just reacted in the wrong direction. And now another player going into the notebook. Biango, Matt Boyd having his say. So I think that's half a dozen cards now shown in this grand final. With a second look at it. Yeah, Boyd chested down. And might have made the wrong man guilty there. Might have actually been Bellarezzo that was booked for the Tigers. So we're ticking down, 8 minutes to go. Trying to do his part was Leggett. It's too far for Strickland, and Long at the edge of the area will collect and then roll out. In the direction of the substitute Takamoto. Reesby in no hurry. Yango will come up and put the obligatory pressure on the Peninsula Gloveman to eventually send his clearance away. Roper intercepts. It's Barnett that comes away with it, however. Takamoto, sharp movement between him and Bellarezzo. Coulson. Barnett sent flying, but definitely no foul there. Once again, the Eastern Suburbs faithful. Very vocal, despite the circumstances. Let's have a second look at that challenge by Boyd on Barnett. Seems as though we're ticking down the inevitable. Reesby taking the full allowance of time. Oh yeah, I'll place the ball there. I'll stamp the feet on the post and take a casual run up before I send this goal kick away. Peninsula bench still urging their charges on right till the death, asking them not to lose focus. Here's the two-time goal scorer tonight. Briggs attempting to play provider with Dozzy and just got the wrong purchase on it, just bobbled at the wrong time for the tall striker. Takamoto sizes up Hurlin, who forces him square. Bellarezzo with the 1-2. Defended by Briggs. Lancaster, he's gone down. A free kick at the edge of the area here for the Tigers with 5 minutes remaining. That'll give the faithful some hope. Fancy to be Scott Coulson to line it up. Yeah, the foot stuck out there by Plummer. Three congregating around for Easts. Yango and Coulson. So will it be a right foot strike by Yango or a left foot strike by Coulson? 5 in the wall for Power. Lara Lee giving the final checks, gives the OK. It will be the left foot strike of Coulson. Delivered straight to Reesby, who punches away. And for the time being, there's no fight back from the Tigers just yet, but Leggett, the acting skipper for Bellarezzo, plays a low ball on. Power have all the answers at the moment. This defence that had conceded just 17 goals coming into this evening. Clean sheets in their last 7. And if I can do some quick maths on the run, 650 plus 80, 730 minutes now without conceding a goal. 12 hours of football, plus some. Surely be fitting for Dean Briggs to finally seal this one once and for all and to collect a hat-trick. Another Eastern Suburbs player earns the ire of referee Lara Lee. He got past Sauer initially, but then it was Lancaster deemed to be the offender. Two and a half, just over that, plus stoppages remaining in this FQPL Grand Final. So a variation on the free kick. Cronin plays back for Briggs, the 1-2 with the former Raw Youth man. And a corner here for Peninsula Power, delighting the home crowd. Hurlin presents himself as the option short. 2 to go. Looped over for Briggs. Doesn't get enough run on it in the wet, heavy conditions, and Briggs gives away the free kick. Be right in the corner for Eastern Suburbs, who have 90 seconds to go the length of the park. Yeah, free kick picked out by the assistant Shoal knew he was in the wrong. Basically gave himself up. Into the back of Hurlin. Well, what a season this has been from Peninsula Power. They'll bring up the quarter century in terms of wins this evening. Just sense it's just a matter of time until the full-time whistle blows and they will be confirmed as the 2018 Premiers and Grand Final winners, being told that there will be 4 minutes of time added on. Perhaps Will Shoal might be made to try and make me eat my words on that one, however, but as I've said, pretty much on our live streams that we've covered of Peninsula Power this year, they've virtually been in a league of their own. Well and truly worthy of being crowned premiers at the end of the 2018 season, maintaining this undefeated record. Showtime out there for the moment. So yeah, confirmation that we will be having 4 minutes of stoppage time. Cunha. Yeah, Peninsula probably felt a bit aggrieved when the NPL licence holders were announced last year and really did make it their mission to get promoted to the NPL for 2019 at the first attempt, and they've achieved exactly that. Just composure from Power. Never really looked troubled in any situation they've found themselves in this year. I said a few weeks ago that the feeling in the dressing room was that pretty much it's not so much autopilot, but the coaches didn't really have a lot to say at halftime team talks. Players knew their job, what they needed to do, kept focused. They could quite easily have taken the foot off the pedal after clinching the premiership 6 or so weeks ago. But then they had the target of scoring 100 goals. That was achieved. Keeping the undefeated season alive, that's achieved. And winning the grand final. So ticking off all the objectives on the whiteboard for this season, Peninsula. Let's not forget Easts. Fantastic effort from them to finish second on the table. Rochedale were more highly fancied to be the second promotion spot. But Eastern Suburbs have claimed that crown. Really excited by Logan going forward as well in the promotion race for much of the season before the last 6 weeks or so really have slipped up through injury. I'm sure Royce Brownlee will be keen at the second time of running and a more successful season for Logan Lightning next year. The other notable team, the Sunshine Coast Wanderers, in their debut year as a club. Stellar effort for them just to miss out on the finals by just 2 goals as Strickland looks to put the cherry on the top. Almost covers his face with the jersey as he blazes over the crossbar. would have been the full stop. Perhaps some late consolation for the Tigers. Once again, Peninsula equal to the task. Their supporters enjoying this final few moments. Well and truly be a party. They know how to party here at AJ. Kelly, Dean Briggs! Super save from Sam Long to deny Briggs a hat-trick and the absolute sealer in this game. Sam Long equal to the task here. Judge is right, gets the right mitt to it, just enough to tip it over the bar. Great effort from both players there, Briggs and Sam Long. Sam Long answered an SOS after being at Moreton Bay in the first part of the season. Certainly helped contribute to a less leaky defence for Eastern Suburbs. But it's Peninsula Power who complete the unbeaten season. They claim the premiership. Now they go on to claim the double in the inaugural season of the Football Queensland Premier League at full time at AJ Kelly Park. You can see the crowd in the background in appreciation of Peninsula. They are the deserved 2018 champions of the Football Queensland Premier League, taking out this grand final over Eastern Suburbs by 2-0. So the two sets of teams shake hands with the match officials. The celebrations will last long into the night here at AJ Kelly Park. Back through the second half highlights. No goals in the second half. Both those coming Dean Briggs' way during the first stanza. Junior defended away there for Peninsula Power as Eastern Suburbs look to try and get back into this game early in the first half. Richie Hurlin always spotted the keeper off his line, that one, and you can never allow Richie Hurlin a chance like that. Tom Strickland just hassled off the ball there, and that earned a yellow card to Luke Leggett. Resulting free kick was taken by the Scotsman, just dinked one over and was denied by the upright and him going onto the score sheet in this game. The Tigers continued valiantly. This free kick drifted into the box but ended up evading everyone. Scott Coulson tried to play his part from the dead ball opportunities. The clearance off the line denied the Tigers a comeback goal. Reesby once again superb in the Peninsula Power goal this evening. And then Boyd was upended in this incident. Substitute Lancaster came on, gave his side a free kick in dangerous territory. It was Scott Coulson that delivered here for Eastern Suburbs, parried away by Jake Reesby. And then Dean Briggs, the 2-goal hero for Peninsula this evening, came under heavy scrutiny from the Eastern Suburbs players. And then Tom Strickland had his chance to get on the score sheet, but blazed high over the bar with not much time remaining. And then Dean Briggs once again brought out the best in Sam Long, but the Eastern Suburbs goalkeeper equal to the task. So the teams congregating for the presentation. That'll be on the Football Queensland socials later on. But congratulations to Peninsula Power, the 2018 Football Queensland Premier League champions. They've defeated Eastern Suburbs by 2-0. Thanks for joining us for the FQPL season this year. A reminder that there's NPL tomorrow. Join all our commentators for that action. But thanks very much for joining me this season. Thanks very much for your support as well as your comments and feedback on the game. It's been great to have you involved interactively. This has been a Football Queensland production in partnership with Double Take Sports. The 2018 Grand Final in the FQPL has been decided. It's Peninsula who prevail 2-0 over Eastern Suburbs. Rafe Griffin saying goodnight.